neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? But accordance with Megan's law, I can't be within okay, we'll leave out that part. That part's not important. We're just going to skip that part. Anywho, welcome to another video. Why am I in front of a dartboard? Because fuck you, that's why. Welcome to this video. It's been a while since we've had a little chat like this, but New York has delivered another fine one to us. Actually, they didn't deliver this one to us recently. It's just, it's been there for a while. It's been so absurd. I've been a lazy fuck. A bit of a combination of all the things. This is a good one, though. You will not believe. You'll think he has that wrong. That can't be. That cannot be. That doesn't make any sense. But remember, doesn't make any sense. New York. With that, welcome to the video. You may have enjoyed my little sight gag there. Oh, frickin' knee slapper. That is hilarious. Do you want to hear another hilarious? Here's a little improv. You know, speaking of which, here's a little, I'm not being sponsored for this video, but Tom Hanks, he's going to be playing Mr. Rogers. Another thing Tom Hanks is very famous for is Forrest Gump. He has a very famous quote. I think it goes something like, cops are like a box of chocolates. If you put them near your dog, they're gonna die. But, whoa, baby, let's not go there. But this video is about weight. It feels like kind of like Bob's Burgers, where if you look in the background, you'll see a little Easter egg. This is about weight. I've got some weight. Actually, I've lost a little bit of weight, but according to YouTube, you'll be a fat fuck. By the way, this is honestly serious. Been completely sober and dry since January 25th of this year. Thank you. And I've actually lost quite a bit of weight. Yes, all the praises this way. Anywho, weight in the firearms department. This does not have anything to do with it. I'm just wearing this because I got a super cool Galco Miami Classic holster, shoulder holster, for my P99, 2 extra mags on the side. I've always wanted a shoulder holster, got the whole James Bond thing going. I was like, fuck it, yeah, you know, it'll be a nice prop for the video, just like those dumbbells. Speaking of dumbbells, New York laws. Weight. Let's talk about weight. You may have seen what I was doing there was lifting weights. Now, most people lift weights to maybe lose a little bit of weight, maybe gain lung capacity. But another thing they do, like prisoners do this sometimes, is they do it to build muscle tone. We don't want any of that. We want the sheep to be sheep. They will follow orders. They don't need to be getting all strong and getting out of line. So there's certain things we don't want them doing here in the gulag, and that is lifting weights. Now, of course, they could go out and get weight like that, but what if we have one of those vile gun owners? Ooh, dear heavens to Betsy, no! What they might do is try to replace the weight with something far more expensive and more useless. Well, more useless for the toning of the muscle type. They might get firearms and say, I'll just lift them. Prisoners sometimes do this with bags of water in a prison. You know, they'll fill up like a pillowcase with a garbage bag. They'll put it in there, and that's how they'll pump iron in the correctional facilities. But if you're a gun owner and you lost your mind, which, don't say that, don't even joke about that with that new red flag law that just got passed, looking at you, New York, you might do something completely ridiculous, like me, and what you could do is just pump your firearms. And don't worry, our Lord and Savior, Andrew M. Cuomo himself, the M is very important because if you don't put that in there, you're going to have to spend millions of dollars buying new signs for a bridge. Anybody who gets that one has paid attention to New York. Yes, millions of dollars being spent for the Tappan Zee Bridge because they didn't put Andrew's dad, Mario M. Cuomo, they didn't put his middle initial in there, and holy bejesus, should you happen to forget whose fault? The Tappan Zee Bridge is, we're not having any of that. It will be known as the Mario M. Cuomo Bridge. They thought about that. They thought right about it. And they said, we're not going to be having that. So what they did, actually, this occurred before the SAFE Act, but with the SAFE Act, it just got worse, because before the SAFE Act, they had what was called the evil feature test. Whereas this is how they banned like a lot of ARs. If your firearm was semi-automatic and had 2 evil features such as a threaded barrel, a pistol grip, nonsensical things that just improve ergonomics and usually looks and stuff like that, don't do anything to do with lethality, but certainly make things look more scary. If they had 2 evil features, they were banned in New York. Now it's 1 evil feature, so everything counts now. One of the evil features is If you have a semi-automatic pistol that weighs more than 50 ounces, it is illegal in New York. Why don't you take a second and just let that stew for a minute? Yes, the weight of the firearm has made it illegal. Because something weighs too much, it's not allowed to participate. That's going to upset a lot of feminists. But seriously, if your semi-automatic pistol weighs more than 50 ounces, boy, it's hotter than a taint in here. It is illegal. So let's take a look at what I had here. This, you may know as the IMI/Magnum Research Desert Eagle. For the longest time, this was illegal in New York, and let's do a safety check. Oh goodness, it's loaded, but it's only loaded in the magazine. It's unloaded. You may have seen this in nearly every movie where somebody's trying to be a badass ever, or video games. It's Valkyrie's handgun from Rainbow Six, all my Siege fans out there. Also, Nook, she gets a little suppressor on the end of it. The Desert Eagle actually weighs something like 70 ounces. So how in the world do I have one? Because I'm a felon and I'm waiting for somebody to catch me. No, because Magnum Research saw this ridiculous law in New York, and they said, you know what we're going to do? The regular Desert Eagle has a steel frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an aluminum frame, and we're going to do some milling, some slight milling to the slide. You'll see a slot here, and you'll see some slots in the barrel. This 50 caliber Desert Eagle, just like the regular Desert Eagles that you see in the movies and stuff like this is the regular one, same mount capacity and everything, which is, what the hell does this thing hold? 7 shots of 50 AE, weighs 49.99999 repeating ounces. That is brilliant! Pardon me. I got allergic to bullshit laws there for a second. They made this 49.99999 ounces, and therefore New York legal. And I jumped at the opportunity to buy one. I actually have the 44 Magnum conversion barrel for this as well. You just swap out the magazine, swap out the barrel, and that weighs like 49.9 ounces as well, something like that. That is the biggest fuck you to the laws I've ever seen. People are always trying to skirt the laws with the different grips on the ARs, like the Thorsten stock and this and that. This is great. It's the exact same firearm, they just made it out of a different material and made some slight milling in the slide. And now it's perfectly New York legal. Now I have my Desert Eagle. It's fantastic. There is no logic with these laws, and when there's no logic, it's not very hard to get by them. It's brilliant. Here's where it gets a little bit stupider. I'm going to go ahead and put the magazine back in this and set it off to the side. This weighs more than 50 ounces. This is the Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum. And it is clear. But it weighs more than 50 ounces. But it's not semi-automatic. And I always have questioned that. Semi-automatic, it fires 1 round per pull of the trigger. How is a double-action revolver not semi-automatic? I understand that it's different mechanisms and stuff, but how long is it going to be before that's the next law? Because, I mean, it fires 1 round per pull of the trigger. How long before they start going after that? Wink, wouldn't be surprised. This is totally legal. This thing you could add fucking boat anchors to and it would never be illegal. Unless you're Bud's Gun Shop and they're too stupid to fucking understand the laws. Like, I tried to order this from Bud's Gun Shop and they're like, whoa, no, there's a law in New York. It can't be over 50 ounces. I'm like, no, it's actually a semi-auto that can't be over 50 ounces. No. So they lost out on a $1,400 sale and I actually just went to a local gun store, got it for a little bit more. This can be any weight you want. Because, again, not semi-auto. Brilliant! Now, you may be asking, why in the world, where does this, you must be, who would ban something based on weight? Who would ban something based on weight? The porn industry, because nobody wants to see a fatty in there. Well, that's not entirely true, because some of you who know me well, may know that I may appear in a, let's just say, adult video or two. And if you can link me to one of those videos in a PM... Anywho, moving on, let's just say not everybody might have the biggest schlong, but everybody might be into something. Moving on. Anyway, who might ban, what's the reason for these being banned? The weight? The actual reason they did is a backdoor way to just try to ban ARs. They couldn't just flat out say no ARs. So, the AR pistols, they weighed over 50 ounces, obviously, so they used this as a backdoor to get around them. They said, whoa, you gotta ban it on the weight. They've done this with AR pistols too, by the way. They've milled into the receiver. It's just, it requires a little bit too much milling, makes them kind of, maybe not even that stable. So I'm not really interested in the AR pistol aspect of things. Plus, now they have the, if you have a magazine that attaches outside of the pistol grip, in a pistol it's an assault weapon. Just bizarre nonsense, bizarre nonsense. But that's the reason they did it. It just happened to catch other things like the Desert Eagle there in its wake, and they got around it. So there you go. It's fantastic. What I think happened, I have this nice chalkboard here. This will be a nice usage tool I'll be able to use for visual demonstrations now. To sum this up so I can get out of this video and you can get back with your fantastic lives, I think something like this happened. I think Mr. Andrew M. Cuomo was probably looking in the mirror, and a little bit of that more off there, and he was probably looking down at his arms. He was probably, like, let's just say this is the bicep here, and he was probably like, you know, we don't want people expanding those, because he probably looked down a little bit further, and he's like, because we don't want people, and then here's the arm. We don't want people having big, strong arms, because they could get into a fight. They could damage somebody. Somebody could call his son a fucking Frito, and he could fucking be badass and say, I'm gonna throw you down the stairs, you want fisticuffs? And then he probably looked all the way down. He said, because with stronger arms come stronger hands. Let's draw a hand here. And he was probably thinking, we don't want any of that, so here's the whole arm right there. And, you know, he was probably like, we don't really want any of that. People will be pumping iron. We don't want any of that. And then, well, let's draw some perspiration of people working out. Ooh, I'm working out, and oh, God.